submarine to the Apollo moon landings, I don't think it's comparable. Said that they had different movements.
So it was about the argument of the environment. So go ahead and start over. Make yourself clear then. What is your argument about the environment being a problem on for humans going to the moon? To take the environment with us.
Versus electronics. Electronics are much hardier than humans.
But we can do that. Oh my God. Okay. What are you saying is the problem with taking the environment to the moon for a human to live in versus the ISS? What is the difference there? What are you talking about? You're talking about protecting the electronics from solar radiation. Is that what you're talking about? Are you talking about the protection from the magnetosphere or whatever?
Circuitry doesn't require oxygen or temperature control or any of these.
Mm-hmm.
At least temperature.
So you are talking about the environment for them to breathe. Why is it? How then can they get the environment on the ISS with no problem, but they would have problems sending it to the moon?
I'm not saying that there's a problem with what they're doing on the ISS. I'm just saying that there's a significant degree in difficulty difference between sending a unmanned probe to the moon versus sending fleshy meat bags to the moon.
Here's the thing, though, Ace. It is a lot safer for us to send a submarine down to Challenger Deep in the Marianas Trench to view that. But there have been humans that have also done the same thing. Just because, yes, it may be safer to send one of those things down there, does not mean that humans can't go down there. You can both of those things can be correct.
I got to tell you, I think it's probably
this whole past.
Hang on. I think it's also more dangerous to me. I'd rather be in space than miles and miles underneath the ocean under significant amount of pressure. To me, that scares the hell out of me. That's why I didn't become a submariner. But both conditions are not good. If something went wrong, you'd die instantly, pretty much either way. But the engineering factor is completely different, being under high pressure as opposed to being a rarefied, gaseous condition where there's not much atmosphere at all. I would not want to be down in the trench.
You're talking about 14 psi in a oxygen environment enclosed in space, which is next to nothing compared to what you're feeling at the bottom of the Marianas Trench.
Right. Two very different things.
Yeah, but all of this again, this whole last 15 minutes has mostly just been anecdotes, analogies, and conjectures, and none of it is relevant to the actual evidence that are provided.
Because you just keep saying on the evidence you provided, you just keep saying because it can happen, because it can. You didn't.
There is there to be had.
I'm just not convinced by two pictures.
No. It's just like I said, Skeptic made a bunch of really strange claims about these images that I made, completely all unjustified. I answered as many as they could, and Skeptic just keeps reasserting them as if they're fact, and it's just really strange to me that he's so certain of what he's saying.
But I'm not a professional photographer. I think a professional photographer.
You don't need to be a professional photographer to understand this argument. You don't need to be
Ace. Hold on, Ace. I want to address something, Ace. I had to point out to you that image was even altered. You didn't even know that. You just, as soon as I pointed it out.
How is that relevant?
Oh my God, because you have no idea. Hold on, hear me out. You have no idea whether that explanation you gave even matches the photo, because you didn't even know the photo was altered to begin with.
Look, Skeptic, you had no idea what my argument was. You had no idea what my argument was. You didn't even recognize the discontinuity.
I let you present your argument first. I let you present your argument first. I let you present your argument first. I had to point out to you that there were alterations done to the original photo, and then your answer was, of course, that can work. It obviously does. You don't know what you're talking about. How does this make a difference? You didn't even know that the fucking photo was altered to begin with, and you just ran with it because you know what? You probably have a good experience in debating, and you understand that you're not going to just say, well, damn, I didn't know that. And yeah, that is a possibility. You're here to win your point, but your point is moot because all the evidence you supplied, you didn't even know. You didn't even know it was altered. You didn't know it was altered. You
Again,
sat here and admitted it yourself.
Again, how are the alterations?
So how are you so sure that your
relevant to my
explanation?
argument?
How are you so sure that your explanation of the what I pointed out to you was so perfectly matches what we should see? Because it's your argument, and you need to have
my argument still stands even with these alterations. It's so robust.
Sure, because it has
these
to.
alterations
Because
that
it
are
has
done
to.
to the image.
It has to.
No,
You don't-
no. Look, my
you didn't know there were
argument.
alterations.
Listen, I
So
gave
how
you
are you
the
making that
room.
assertion?
Can I respond to you?
You're right.
Hello.
Go ahead. Yes.
So-
Go ahead.
So my observations about this pair of images are so robust that this discontinuity remains even through these kinds of alterations. So that there being alterations and this discontinuity still being visible is not any argument against my point. It's actually an argument for the robustness of my argument.
I disagree with you. I disagree vehemently because all you did, you just said you had, okay, I know I'm repeating this, but I'm repeating this because it's a point. You didn't even know that they were altered. You haven't even taken the altered photos and said, "Hey, let me get back to you. Let me go check to make sure this matches my argument." Still, you just said.
I really did. I even sent Kyle.
I had to tell you.
I even sent Kyle.
Oh, wow.
I sent Kyle a brand new
I had to
GIF during
tell
this
you.
debate.
Oh, okay, hold on. We'll put it up. Dave, put up unskewed.
I mean, look, I'm not. It took me. To be honest, I don't think it's necessary. I took like 30 seconds to make it, so it's not the best.
No, please play it.
It's not something.
Just to see.
Well, either way, yeah.
So-
I mean, I don't care. Yeah. So these are very quickly within 30 seconds, I just overlaid one photo on top of the other, and it looks even worse. It looks even worse for your case, skeptic.
Dave, are you there?
But so I mean, you should understand.
I am
skeptic,
here.
that,
I'm trying not to interrupt. That's
Yeah,
literally
just
my
pull it
whole
up there.
point. Is I've got to pull it up first. Hold on.
Well, I just want to say really quickly, you should understand that one of the fundamental measures of the robustness of an argument is the fact that it withstands permutations or adjustments. So if you can adjust the argument slightly and the argument still stands, it's considered to be a robust argument. So you're actually making my case for me, skeptic.
I don't think your argument stands. That's what I'm telling you, is that you say you obviously see inconsistencies in there, right? Okay, so
I never said
go ahead and
inconsistency.
explain.
I never said inconsistency. I said a discontinuity.
Okay, what discontinuity. You see a discontinuity. Okay, that's fine. Go ahead.
Yeah.
No, your image is playing. Go ahead and explain.
Well, look, that's the unskewed image. Look, I slapped that together in 30 seconds. I'm not saying that's interesting at all. I would probably want to spend a bit more time refining that image. The point is that you still see that discontinuity there, even in that unskewed image.
Like
Quite
you
clear to
should.
see.
Like you should.
Like
Do you think that? Yeah.
Wait, why
hold on.
would
Do
you
you think that
expect
there's
a
no topography
discontinuity?
whatsoever? You're telling me there's no topography whatsoever. You're telling me for a fact you know that where you see that line that there's not a slight dip, even a slight one, just a little one, 2 feet down. You're telling me
Yes,
for a
I
fact
know
you
for a
know
fact.
that it does not go down whatsoever. Okay.
Yeah, I know for a
For a
fact.
fact, okay.
That's why I said.
Present
That's
it,
why
please.
I sent you.
Present me this. No, okay.
Okay, yeah,
No,
go
those are
ahead. Yeah,
topography
so
maps.
if Dave-
How far away are those topography lines? No, I'm saying like even if it okay, let's say it went down 1 meter and went for 10 meters and came back up. Okay, it's not going to show up on a topography map.
Yes, it would. If the topography map was
The lines
accurate to
in the
1 meter, it would definitely.
Well, yeah,
It
of
would
course,
definitely
but
show
not
that.
in the ones that you presented. Are they accurate to 1 meter?
I think
No,
the
they're
more
not.
detailed
No,
one
they're
is
not.
accurate to 2 meters.
Okay.
So yeah, it's
Let's see.
pretty.
Which
It's
one
pretty
is that
accurate.
one? Which one is that one? Because that would have to show 3,000 different points that it can be accurate. You have to show 3,000 lines in a 6 kilometer thing if it's accurate to 2 meters. You understand that, right? So let's pull up that image and see if there's 6,000 lines between.
No, wait. That's not the case because again, the lines demonstrate the change in altitude, and there isn't a significant change in altitude between the landing site and St. George. So no, you wouldn't expect.
All right, so
that
Okay,
many
can you
lines,
show? Can you
3,000
demonstrate
lines.
how that is a consistent slope up?
That image that was just up, that came from somebody in the live chat. It said
Those are
line
the
of
EVAs.
the line of discontinuity. Yeah, is the ridge
Discontinuity.
giant channel between the landing site and the crater.
You mean Hadley's
Oh,
Rill?
that would be.
That's what's known as Hadley's Rill.
Yeah, so that's what he was saying. So that's what you're referring to, the discontinuity?
No, but see, the problem with that hypothesis that the discontinuity is Hadley's Rill is that Hadley's Rill doesn't extend across the entire width of the image. So if you actually look at that image closely, you can actually see that discontinuity, there's the legs of the lander, and that discontinuity persists and continues past the legs of the lander and into the body of the lander. So for that to be Hadley's Rill, you would actually have to show that that Hadley's Rill extends to. So that's an image looking to the southeast. So Hadley's Rill is to the southeast, and you have to show that Hadley's Rill would extend all the way to the southwest, which it doesn't. We can see that pretty clearly from the topological maps. That's that canyon, right? So he's saying that the canyon is
all the way
supposedly
across the image. It does extend all the way across the image.
You're exactly right. That discontinuity does extend across the image. However, Hadley's Rill is only visible to the southwest, and it would have to extend all the way to the southeast.
That's the right side of the relative of the photograph, right?
Yes,
Okay.
and yes, and the discontinuity continues to the east, while Hadley's Rill is only to the west. So that's a good shot.
I mean,
Whoever came up with that.
I'm looking at the photo, and I'm still not even. To me, it just does not. It's not showing what you say it's showing. I don't see where it's saying that what we're looking at is showing with definitive proof that we're seeing this discontinuity across the ground that's due to the ground meeting a backdrop. It doesn't look that way.
Okay, so you finally settled on that position. Are you going to flip flop again?
Okay, I finally settled on a word that you'll agree on. Yes. Okay, I haven't changed my position.
A position.
Hold on.
No, you have changed your position.
No, I have not changed my position because the whole time I said
the recording will speak for itself.
Dude, listen, every time you say, do you see that? Do you see that? Yes, I see that in the ground, but what I don't see is what you see. What you see is a backdrop meeting the ground. I don't see that. And your evidence that you've provided that says, oh, look, this is absolute. No way to describe this except this way. And I say, look, did you even know that this had been changed? And you didn't. So, and then you go, oh, but that still explains it. You haven't even checked that. Go check it. Get back to us once you've checked it.
You keep bringing up that canard. That's just such a canard at this point. There was a skew in the image. Ooh.
Okay, but you didn't know that, and yet you still proclaimed as if you knew for a fact that was absolutely explainable.
Who cares? Okay, let's just assume I didn't know that.
I do.
Look, skeptic, watch this. Let's just assume I didn't know that, okay? Let's just assume for the sake of argument that I didn't know that. What does the skew of the image have anything to do with this discontinuity?
Oh my God! The discontinuity you're pointing out. Okay, go ahead.
Is this going anywhere? My coffee's wearing out.
Look,
off right now.
I'm sorry. I'm stuck at this point that he can't explain.
So skeptic has jumped back and forth. So he said he didn't see the discontinuity, then he did see the discontinuity, but he doesn't believe me. Now he's back. He's now flip-flopped back to say he doesn't see a discontinuity. So are you gonna flip-flop another time, Team Skeptic? I thought you were actually I thought you were actually prepared. No, look, the recording is going to speak for itself. The recording will show that you said that there wasn't a discontinuity.
Don't talk about being prepared. When I brought up, I pulled out
clearly
the
unprepared
file and showed how you were completely ignorant to the fact.
It was a poor example of preparation.
You're right. It was a very poor one that you stand by right now, saying yes, it absolutely can be a possibility.
You misunderstood what I said.
I'm saying demonstrate that. You were the one who came unprepared. I'm the one who went forth and went and downloaded the PSD from the